educational video. So in the last video, I was talking about an introduction regarding with the microbiology and five kingdom classification of organisms by R.H. Whittaker. And I already discussed about kingdom fungi, the characteristic features of kingdom fungi, the classification of kingdom fungi, and the importance of kingdom fungi. So in this video, I'm going to discuss about kingdom Monera. So let's see the characteristic features of kingdom Monera. Kingdom Monera is also called kingdom Prokaryota because it includes all prokaryotes such as Archaebacteria, Eubacteria, cyanobacteria, which is also called as blue-green algae. Along with that, it also consists of some of the smaller groups such as Mycoplasma, Rickettsia, Actinomycetes, etc. The organisms which belongs to the kingdom Monera, they are so primitive species. They are unicellular and they are microscopic. So they are the very oldest species on earth. Of course, the nucleus is represented by the naked DNA. The DNA is not enveloped or it is not surrounded by any nuclear membrane. Hence, it is belongs to the class of prokaryote. All members of Monera are developed from the ancient form. That ancient form is known as progenote. This is the some of the examples for kingdom Monera, that is bacteria, oscillatoria, nostoc, spirulina, mycoplasma. This mycoplasma is a very smallest cell. So the kingdom Monera, the organisms which belongs to the kingdom Monera, they have a ability to survive in extreme environmental conditions, such as in the absence of oxygen, at high salt concentration, acidic and alkaline pH, and at high temperature. Because the cell wall is made up of a peptidoglycan and polysaccharides. So that is other than cellulose. So polysaccharide is not a cellulose which is other than the cellulose. Because of this cell wall structure, the organisms can able to survive in a extreme environmental conditions such as absence of oxygen, at high salt concentration, and at a high acidic and alkaline pH, and at high temperature. Membrane bound organelles such as mitochondria, lysosomes, plastids are absent in an organisms which belongs to kingdom Monera, but mitochondria is rarely present. They are photosynthetic, some are chemosynthetic, some bacteria are blue-green algae, and some shows a symbiotic relationship with the plants. They reproduce by two methods, sexual and asexual methods. So sexual method is in some species. Asexual reproduction is by fission. The single cell split into another new two cells which are entirely developed into a new organism. So based on the structural organization and type of nutrition and reproduction, the kingdom Monera is classified into three divisions. So the three classifications of kingdom Monera are schizophytes, cyanobacteria, and protophyta. Let's see division schizophyte. So division schizophyta includes bacteria. So it has two classes which is further classified, that is Archaebacteria, which is called as an ancient bacteria. These are the oldest bacteria on earth. Next is the Eubacteria, that is true bacteria. These are the modern bacteria. So let's see class Archaebacteria. The cell wall is made up of protein, glycoprotein, lipids, and polysaccharides. Because of this cell wall composition, the organisms can able to survive against antibiotics and lytic agents. So they have a resistant against antibiotics and lytic agents because of this cell wall composition of the Archaebacteria. So they have a ribosomal RNA. So they are divided into three types, that is methanogens, halophiles, and thermoacidophiles. That Archaebacteria are again classified into three types such as methanogens, halophiles, and thermoacidophiles. So first we will see methanogens. So these are a methane producing bacteria. They require high organic matter in their environment for the healthy development and growth, and they require a less oxygen for their development. So these are the species who requires high organic content, and less oxygen for their survival and development. So, these organisms converts a formic acid or the acetic acid into carbon or only a methane gas to get the energy through this reaction. So they get the energy through the reaction of conversion of formic acid or the acetic acid into methane. For example, methanobacterium and methanococcus, these are the responsible for the conversion of formic acid and acetic acid into methane. So these are the methane producers, hence they are called methanogens. Next, we will see halophiles. These halophiles are called salt lovers. For example, halococcus and halobacterium. So they occurs in salt water and salty fish. They present in a high salt concentration area. So they are salt lovers. They require sodium chloride concentration of about 17 to 23% for the good growth and development. If the concentration of the sodium chloride is falls down, is reduces in the environment or in the habitat that they are living, for example of about 10%, if it is falls down to 10%, the cells of the halophiles lyses because they require a high sodium chloride concentration of about 17 to 23% for their good, for their healthy development. So if it is falls down, the cell starts to slice and finally there will be death of a halophiles. So they contain a red and orange pigments that is called as bacteriorhodospin. So that protects the cell wall from the sunlight. So that protects the cell from the sunlight and also utilizes the sun to produce the energy molecule that is ATP. So it is also responsible for the production of ATP molecule by utilizing the sunlight. It does not convert any carbon dioxide into sugar. It is not like in the photosynthesis process. It does not convert any carbon dioxide into sugar. It only utilizes the sunlight to produce the energy molecule that is ATP. Next is the thermoacidophiles. So these are heat and acid lovers because they grow in very acidic condition and also at very high temperature. So they can grow in hot places at high temperature of about 60 to 80 degrees Celsius and at the pH of 2. For example, thermoplasma and thermoproteus are the example for thermoacidophiles. One of the species that is sulfobolus can grow at the temperature of about 70 to 87 degrees Celsius, so and at the pH of 2. The cell membrane is made up of hydrocarbons which is connected at the both end to glycerols. Because of this cell membrane component, they can able to survive at high temperature at high acidic condition. This is one of the characteristic features of the thermoacidophiles. Because of they able to survive at high thermal condition at high acidic conditions, hence they got the name thermoacidophiles. So how to kill the thermoacidophiles if they are able to survive at high temperature? The only solution to kill them is by autoclaving them at the temperature of about 121 degrees Celsius for an about of 1 hour. So then only we can able to kill the thermoacidophiles. Next we will see class Eubacteria. So the class Eubacteria is also called a germ, generally called a germ or a microbe. So it is a modern type of bacteria. So they reproduce by fission and heterotropic methods. So the first bacterial cell was observed by the Antony von Leeuwenhoek in the year 1675. So he's the father of microbiology, we all know that. So bacteria are classified based on the shape and mode of nutrition. Let's see the classifications of the bacteria based on the shape. Based on the shape, the bacteria are classified into 15 types, such as if the bacteria are spherical in shape, they're called micrococcus. If they're rod shaped, they're called bacillus. So spherical structures are combined together to form a diplococcus structures. So they're diplocacillus, tetracoccus, streptobacillus, streptococcus, palisade, Sarcina, Spirulum, Staphylococcus. If they're comma shaped, it is called Vibrio, Acetobacter, and Beggiata alba. So these are the types of the bacteria which are classified based on the shape. You can see in the picture how that differs in shape. Next, we will see the classification of the bacteria based on the mode of nutrition. First one is parasitic bacteria. So this is the type of the bacteria which gets the nutrition from host body and causes the diseases to the host body. For example, Salmonella typhi, it is a bacillus type bacteria which causes typhoid to humans, and it uses the nutrition, it gets the nutrition from the human body for its reproduction and for its development. One more bacteria, that is Diplococcus pneumonia, which belongs to the coccus bacterial group. So it causes pneumonia in humans. One more example, that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis, which is a bacillus type bacteria, so which causes tuberculosis in humans. So such types of bacteria are classified under parasitic type. So the next is the saprophytic type. These are the type of the bacteria which gets the food or which gets the nutrition from the dead or decaying matter. So they causes putrefaction. So through this process they get the nutrition. So they helps to decompose the dead organ. They helps to decompose the dead organisms through this process. Hence they gets the energy for the development. Next type of classification is symbiotic bacteria. So these are the type of the bacteria which lives in symbiotic association or symbiotic relationship with the plants, such as a rhizobium bacteria which fixes an atmospheric nitrogen in the nodules of leguminous plants, thus helps the plant to get the sufficient nitrogen atmosphere. It helps to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. Next is the photosynthetic and autotrophic bacteria. So this photosynthetic autotrophic bacteria are consist of pigment called bacteriochlorophyll, so which is responsible for the bacterial photosynthesis at anoxygenic condition, so does not require an oxygen. So here bacteria uses carbon dioxide and H2S gas to produce glucose and energy. So now the entire bacterial photosynthesis reaction will be 6CO2 plus 12H2S in the presence of light gives rise to glucose molecule, that is C6H12O6, plus there will be a production of sulfur, 12 molecules of sulfur plus 6H2O water molecule will be produced plus energy. So this is the bacterial photosynthesis, an entire reaction representation. They utilizes carbon dioxide and H2S gas for the production of glucose and energy in the presence of light. It is because of the pigment present in a bacteria that pigment is responsible for the bacterial photosynthesis, that is bacteriochlorophyll. Next we will see chemosynthetic types of bacteria. So these are the type of the bacteria which are responsible for the production of organic matter. So these are the type of the bacteria which produces organic matter with the help of inorganic compounds such as nitrites, ammonia and iron by utilizing carbon dioxide and water. For example, carbon bacteria. So this type of bacteria, the carbon bacteria is type of bacteria which is responsible for the conversion of carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide, plus there will be a production of energy which is further utilized by the bacteria for the development and growth. So the example for the carbon bacteria, that is Bacillus oligocarpophilus. So the entire reactions can be written as 2CO plus O2 is gives rise to 2CO2 plus energy. So there will be a production of energy, carbon dioxide. So that it is called carbon bacteria, which is responsible for the conversion of carbon monoxide in the presence of oxygen into carbon dioxide, plus there will be a production of energy. Other example for chemosynthetic bacteria are nitrifying bacteria. So these are the type of the bacteria which are responsible for the production of nitrogen. So the example for the nitrifying bacteria is Nitrobacter. One more example for the chemosynthetic bacteria is sulfur bacteria. So these are the type of the bacteria which are responsible for the production of sulfur. The example for the sulfur bacteria is Thiothrix. Next, we will see division cyanobacteria. So the division cyanobacteria is known as blue-green algae. They're larger than bacteria of about 5 micrometer. So the flagella pillae or femore is absent in this type of bacteria. The cell wall is made up of cellulose, but in some species the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. So they are autotrophic, so they has a chlorophyll and phycocyanin, so they prepare their own food. So that's why they belongs to the class of blue-green algae, hence they are called blue-green algae. The photosynthetic product is starch, not a glucose. Here it is a starch. So they are aerobic, some are anaerobic. The final division is protophyta or mycoplasm. It is also called mycoplasm. So this is the simplest and smallest unicellular prokaryotes. This is the smallest cell. This is first discovered by the French scientist, that is E. Nocard and E. R. Rox at 1898. So they discovered mycoplasma from the fluid of cattle which is suffering from the disease called bovine pneumonia. When the mycoplasms are in water, soil or in the sewage water, they act as a saprophytes and gets the energy from the dead or decaying matter. In another condition, when they are in plants and animals, they act as a parasites and causes diseases to the animals, plants and humans. Next, Mycoplasma gallisepticum is one type of species in Mycoplasma, so which is known as smallest cell, so that is of about 0.1 to 0.25 micron in size. The cell wall is absent, so that's why it can change the body shape. The flagella is absent, so they consist of the ribosomes of a 70S, so they have a granules of various types. And mycoplasms have a ability to get the resistant against the antibiotic such as penicillin. They divide into very minute bodies. The reproduction process is very minimal organisms. So this is the picture shows the cells of mycoplasma. Here you can see the DNA is naked. It is not enveloped with any type of nuclear membrane or membrane. So that's why it is considered as a prokaryotic cell. It has a cell membrane. Cell wall is absent. So it has a ribosome of 70S. This is all about the kingdom Monera. We are going to discuss in detail about the bacterial cell and the reproduction in the bacteria in the next video. I hope you understood and thank you for watching. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get the update.
Hi friends, subscribe to my YouTube channel and also press a bell icon to never miss an educational video.